It is.
I love it. And I got to get your prediction really quick on the Jake Paul versus GervontaDavis fight.
Boxing. I'm team boxing, man. GervontaDavis, of course.
GervontaDavis?
Of course.
And who would you say is the #1 pound for pound right now in boxing?
Usyk.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless, it doesn't count.
The weeds for this? You part of this movement that's going on right now. Well, I got in the ring with you know, a top pound for pound fight in the world. We got going over there contribute to help this dude.
The guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look.
Alexander Usyk didn't hold back when warning Jake Paul about stepping in the ring with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. With Tank looking stronger, sharper, and far more skilled, Usyk believes there's only one outcome: Jake Paul losing. Responding to Jake's recent 5-year plan post, where Jake claimed he'd become a world champion and eventually fight Usyk, the heavyweight champ fired back. "Good plan, Jake. But I'm not here for 5th place, only 1st. Soon, I'll finish my story in boxing, and then I'll be waiting for you in the cage." Usyk made it clear he doubts Jake can even handle a smaller, real fighter like Tank, predicting an easy win for Davis. Usyk clearly doesn't see Jake Paul as part of boxing's true elite. By mocking Jake's big plans, he reminded everyone that real fighters chase legacy, not likes or followers. He didn't even have to mention Tank by name to make his point. Meanwhile, Tank's recent training footage speaks for itself. He's bulked up, his upper body looks stronger, his legs more powerful, and he's still moving with that same explosive speed that defines his style.
In some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
The transformation is obvious. Tank's putting on muscle, but hasn't lost any of his speed or precision. That balance has caught the attention of fellow pros and fans alike. Many believe he's taking the smart approach, bulking up to handle Jake's size, while fine-tuning his strategy. He looks every bit like a fighter on a mission to make a statement.
Jake Paul, GervontaDavis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
that's
Paul, GervontaDavis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all exhibitions.
None of them are.
They're exhibitions.
Tank recently opened up about his mindset, saying, "The headspace I'm in now is way better than before. That's all that matters to me." He stayed away from trash talk, focused instead on preparation, and made it clear this is a real fight for him. From his growing size and power to his movement and confidence, he's ready to adapt and deliver. "Every time I fight, it's fireworks," he added. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has finally shown a glimpse of honesty.
Jake went for the jugular. Jake comes back and says, anybody that puts his hands on a woman is a scumbag, and that's you. Tank responds. In the world of responses, it was as bad as it gets. In defense of himself, he makes a comparison to P. Diddy. Jake literally just puts his head down. It's like, man. And I think that Jake was thinking in the...
Speaking to TMZ, Jake admitted, "People keep talking about size, but they forget Tank is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. He's got power in both hands, and his skill and technique come from years of experience. Honestly, I'm more scared going into this fight than I've ever been." It's rare to hear that kind of honesty from a fighter, especially from Jake Paul, who's built his entire image around confidence, swagger, and shaking up the sport.
Prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise.
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing.
Even if Jake's openness sounds like part of the hype, Shannon Briggs seems to share some of that concern. Briggs, who trained Jake early in his career, teaching him the basics like footwork, balance, and the jab, called the fight great for boxing. He said he always knew Jake had potential, but his tone shifted when he spoke about Tank. Having faced real punchers himself, Briggs knows the danger that comes with speed and timing, and Tank has both in abundance. When your former trainer talks more about how big the event will be than your chances of winning, that says a lot.
Skill level. it's like it makes you fair, even though he's not. The weight difference is crazy. Really and truly, bro, Jake Paul should not land a punch on Tank. This guy's one of the great.
Tony Bellew didn't hold back, saying that if Tank lands a solid shot, Jake Paul's going down. Bellew's opinion carries weight. He's experienced knockout power firsthand. He believes size won't save Jake because Tank's accuracy and explosive punches are on another level.
He's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people depicting his fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10-ounce, well, I'm told it's 16-ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards.
Tank has faced bigger opponents before and still dominated them thanks to his sharp timing and precise shot selection. Bellew made it clear, Jake has never gone up against someone like Tank. Davis packs real knockout power, and with 8-ounce gloves, one clean punch could end Jake's night instantly. It's a harsh technical truth. You can't defend against that kind of speed and power forever. One mistake, and it's lights out. Carl Froch believes this fight is risky because it's so unpredictable. He isn't treating it like entertainment, but as a real safety concern. Froch warned that regardless of weight, Tank's explosive style could be dangerous, especially since Jake often keeps his chin too high, a habit that could cost him. Veteran fighter Gabe Rosado agreed, adding that Tank isn't just about power. He's smart with his setups and knows how to create knockout openings.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like it.
About it.
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of...
Tank is a master at drawing opponents into his range, and Rosado noted that he never wastes punches. That's the key difference. Jake depends on rhythm and straight punches, while Tank disrupts that rhythm completely. He closes the distance, forces you to react, and strikes the moment you lose sight of him. It's that precise timing and unpredictability that's allowed him to drop world-class fighters time and again.
Fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta.
What makes things tense is that Davis appears mentally locked in like never before. The usual distractions are gone, and his focus is sharper, controlled, and driven by a personal need to prove himself. He's serious and fully engaged. Jake, on the other hand, is still walking the line between entertainer and real fighter. His progress is clear, stronger body, cleaner combos, but there's still a big gap between practiced moves and true instinct. Tank's lived and breathed that instinct his entire life.
For 10 3-minute rounds. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges.
Shakur Stevenson didn't sugarcoat his answer. When asked if Jake Paul stands a real chance against GervontaDavis, his response was simple, no. And when asked again, he didn't change his stance. Stevenson calmly explained that while Jake's size might matter a little, Tank's boxing IQ and experience would easily outweigh it. He believes Tank could outbox Jake from start to finish and make it look effortless.
Shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or a problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by...
Then he went deeper into the situation, pointing out that since this fight isn't officially sanctioned, it can't be legally bet on. He explained that labeling it an exhibition removes the gambling element because staged events can involve betting. That's the same reason they turned the Tyson fight into a real bout. People wanted to place bets. He described this matchup as wild, unpredictable, and more of a circus than a legitimate contest, suggesting it might end up being entertainment rather than true competition.
When you go get an actual real boxer, for real boxer, who is a knockout artist, who is still in his prime, and now you put him in this exhibition, this just shows me right now that the sport is officially gone, and the only hope we have is September 13th, Canelo and Buck.
Still, he offered some insight into how things could go if the fight turns out to be real. If it's not staged or just light sparring, Tank has a shot, depending on the glove size. Malik Nagy pointed out that Jake is around 100 pounds heavier, which is a huge difference. With smaller gloves, Tank could hurt Jake if he lands clean, but that same setup also gives Jake the power to seriously damage Tank because of the weight gap. That size difference has been the biggest talking point since the fight was announced. Fans are stunned that Davis agreed to fight anywhere near 190 to 195 pounds, considering he spent his entire career around 135. No fighter that small has ever stepped into cruiserweight territory against a full-size opponent like this.
It's boxing. I just hope we get the Shakur fight before that moment. So for me, that Tank fight, I mean, as I understand it, Tank's fighting Jake Paul, which is the most bizarre thing ever, but I'm sure it'll do massive numbers. And I don't know what'll happen with the Lamont Roach fight, but I just hope that...
Malik Nagy's comment about the gloves mattered because they're officially set at 12 ounces, heavier than typical pro gloves. That means each punch does less damage and both fighters get extra padding. It helps Gervonta by giving more protection against Jake's heavier shots, but it also reduces how much power he can generate from his smaller frame.
I mean, and you know what, PBC has to be called out in this too. They have one of the biggest stars in boxing, and they're putting them in this farcical fight. And they are struggling for survival, PBC. I mean, they are just falling apart. You know, the Pacquiao fight did terrible, terribly promoted. Pacquiao was hardly available. I mean, it was just that they were too cheap to hire Pacquiao.
And honestly, PBC has to be called out here. They have one of boxing's biggest stars, yet they're putting him in this ridiculous fight while clearly struggling to stay relevant. Their promotion of the Pacquiao fight was a disaster, poorly organized, badly marketed, and Pacquiao himself was barely accessible. It seemed like they were too cheap to hire his usual team, and it showed.
In exhibition bout, it will not count towards their professional careers. The age is close. Jake Paul is 28, GervontaDavis is 30, but the weight difference is massive. Paul has fought around 200 to 227 pounds. Davis dominated at just 135 pounds. Many expected Davis to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again, but instead he chose Jake Paul, a fight many say is more about money than legacy.
Jake, meanwhile, isn't worried about any of that. He's been hyping the fight like only he can, even revealing on the Double Coverage podcast that there's a huge knockout bonus for whoever finishes the other. He didn't give exact numbers, but called it big money, and confirmed that the bonus still applies even if the finish is ruled a TKO. Both fighters are aiming to finish the fight early. Jake himself said this won't be like those Floyd-Logan matches where nothing happens, someone's getting knocked out. Even though it's officially an exhibition due to the weight difference, he insists the danger is real. The punches are real, and so is the knockout. He also kept up his usual mind games, claiming Tank is mentally weak in the ring and will start to crumble once things go wrong. Jake warned that whatever Tank expects or plans for, he's underestimating him, and this time things definitely won't go his way.
Bout, it will not count towards their professional careers. The age is close. Jake Paul is 28, GervontaDavis is 30, but the weight difference is massive. Paul has fought around 200 to 227 pounds. Davis dominated at just 135 pounds. Many expected Davis to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again, but instead he chose Jake Paul, a fight many say is more about money than legacy. Critics suggest
that mirrors what many have noted about Gervonta's composure under pressure. He usually takes his time, adjusting carefully before landing big counters, but against a bigger, more aggressive fighter, that patience could backfire. Jake plans to use his size and volume to force early mistakes. For him, this fight is all about asserting power and control from the start.
In exhibition bout, it will not count towards their professional careers. The age is close. Jake Paul is 28, GervontaDavis is 30, but the weight difference is massive. Paul has fought around 200 to 227 pounds. Davis dominated at just 135 pounds. Many expected Davis to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again, but instead he chose Jake Paul, a fight many say is more about money than legacy. Critics suggest
he's already earned Tyson's respect for his punching power, and now he wants to prove he can handle a top-tier fighter like Tank, even in an exhibition. The irony is that, while they call it just business, both are clearly treating this fight as a statement.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
But dude, Jake.
You ever watch his highlights?
Jake.
Davis aims to show that boxing skill beats size, and that pure technique still matters, while Jake wants to prove he's more than a YouTube fighter and can compete with real-world champions, even smaller ones. Neither wants to leave Miami looking foolish, which makes the whole fight even more high-stakes and unpredictable.
Ladder. But instead of giving us the rematch with Roach, he's going to fight Jake Paul. Now, this is where you have a chance to stand up as fans. Don't pay for it. Don't watch it. But we know that you're going to.
Shakur Stevenson has been clear. Jake Paul has no chance. The lightweight champion said it outright, without hesitation, believing Tank's skill, timing, and ring IQ completely neutralize any size advantage Jake might have. Stevenson doesn't think Tank needs to go reckless or hunt a knockout. He just has to box smart. Size matters a little, but Tank can simply outbox him. Stevenson envisions a controlled fight where Davis picks his moments, frustrates Jake, and easily takes a points victory.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
It's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think
Sean Porter sees it differently. The two-time world champion says Tank's power is too real for size to matter. Laughing off concerns about Davis's smaller frame, Porter said he's betting on a knockout, convinced the fight won't last if Tank lands clean. He calls it deceptive power, punches that don't look like much until the opponent hits the canvas, the same kind that floored Ryan Garcia and Rolando Romero. Porter's reasoning is simple. Jake may be big, but he's still inexperienced defensively, while Tank has been catching elite fighters for years. One well-timed counter left hand, he believes, could decide everything.
Jake Paul, GervontaDavis. I know on Instagram you called it a circus.
Yeah, this is boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me a question like that again.
Terrence Crawford has a different take. With years of experience, he respects the role of size and power. He said Jake is too big for Tank, and if they truly go at it, one clean punch from Jake could end the fight instantly.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
It's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but
Coming from Crawford, who's moved up through multiple weight classes, that perspective carries weight. He knows even a small difference in pounds can change a fight, let alone 50. He's not questioning Tank's skill or toughness. He's highlighting what happens when a lighter fighter faces a much bigger opponent. It's about strength, punch resistance, leverage, and how much punishment each body can handle. For him, one clean shot from Jake could be decisive.
The only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from
7. When it comes to equipment, Ford has strong opinions. His main concern is the gloves. He pointed out that they don't fight in 12-ounce gloves, which are really just for training. Using heavier gloves would slow Tank down and reduce his power, two of his biggest advantages. Ford suggested a more realistic setup, Tank in 8s and Jake in 10s. That, he believes, would make the fight more authentic and exciting.
And it's not with power, it's not with a beautiful technique, it's just with will. It's with heart. for it. So, you know, what's going to prevail, heart or punching power? You know, it's...
But Jake's team isn't on board, Ford said. When he brought it up, they replied, "No, we don't want any mix and match. It's supposed to be an exhibition." Ford doesn't agree with that. His stance is simple. Tank wears 8-ounce gloves, Jake wears 10, and they fight for real. No oversized gloves, no softened punches. Just let the fighters do what they do best.